A lot of moments in your life often lead you to this point where you feel the urge to pee. It usually starts off like light knocks on your front door. And because you're in the middle of something, you try to set aside that light suggestion to relieve yourself. And then, as moments go by, it gradually increases to imminent raps, and you find yourself trying to keep it all together, especially when you're not in a position to relieve yourself just yet. It's also a reality that it's not at all times that you're immediately able to go to the bathroom to urinate, because most of the time, you're in the middle of something. But what if you find out about the heavy consequences that come in holding it in for so long? The very complication that could result to an explosive ending with all that liquid waste in your body. And we'll get to the bottom of that later, so be sure to stay until the end. So, how long is considered acceptable? And where is the line being drawn before it becomes damaging? And so, you should never hold in your pee. Here is why. First things first, everything has a threshold, and with the way that our body works in the most systemic way possible, limits do exist. On average, humans should urinate at least 4 to 6 times a day. But as life gets busier, it's not an uncommon response that you can't always go in the exact moment of its calling. So what happens to your body when you try and hold your pee? Experiencing that urge to relieve yourself from having a full bladder doesn't just have to do with your bladder being filled up by liquid. It's actually more complicated than that. It involves a very complex process that taps into some of your muscles, organs, and nerves as they work together in sending you the information that it's time for you to go to the bathroom. With a combination of signals that change from person to person, the communication line gets adjusted depending on your age, how much liquid your bladder contains, and what time of day it is. A good example of this would be at night while you get a full 8-hour sleep. Notice how you only wake up at least once or twice only within that 8-hour duration? And there are also times that you get a full 8-hour sleep without having to urinate. That's because your body adjusts its liquid filtering and produces less urine, which results in you minimizing your need to urinate. Isn't that a very interesting fact that your body is programmed to do this so that you're able to sleep more? Did the previous rundown give you an idea on how complicated the process of urinating is for your body? Stay tuned, because the coming information will give you a solid picture if you continue to hold your pee for long, especially at the last bit. Muscle incontinence. Muscle incontinence is what happens when the muscles that hold the pee from leaking out no longer have full control of its holding capacity. This is definitely something you don't want to experience. But you'll be very touched to know that this is one of the things mothers sacrifice the moment they choose to bear a child. A single cough or sneeze could lead to a bit of pee leakage. It is caused by a weakening of the pelvic floor muscles located between your legs and run from the pubic bone to the base of the spine. This sling-shaped muscle holds all your pelvic organs in place, and that includes your bladder. And when you frequently hold your pee, these muscles get weaker. If you wish to maintain this muscle strength, work on releasing your pee at the earliest time possible. You might also want to look up pelvic floor exercises like Kegels. Are you aware of other exercises that can strengthen your pelvic floor? Let us know in the comments below. Urinary tract infection. Having to constantly keep yourself from urinating in the moment that your body is asking you to will cause those bladder muscles to loosen. From there, it leads to urinary retention. What is urinary retention? This happens when your bladder won't be able to completely empty itself, meaning there will still be some urine left inside your bladder, even though you went to the toilet. When the pee that's supposed to be expelled from your system gets left for a very long time, it could definitely develop to complicate your system with a bacterial infection. Your urinary tract would get infected, causing the ultimate discomfort of having a urinary tract infection. Common symptoms for this complication will cause you pain, burning, and stinging while urinating. And that's not all. You'll also experience the constant need to pee, even though nothing's coming out. But when it does, the urine will come out dark in color and will have a strong, pungent smell. Apart from urinary retention, there are other causes to UTI. This includes not drinking enough water, not peeing after sex, and not peeing often. Once you're diagnosed with this complication, the only way for you to get well would be by taking strong antibiotics that may cause intense side effects to your body. Kidney stones. Another painful condition. Kidney stones are formed the moment that waste products in the blood form crystals and develop over time. This is caused by not drinking enough water and holding your pee frequently and for longer periods of time. In actuality, kidney stones can be small enough to pass through while you pee, and this can be very painful. But these stones can also develop to become as large as 20 millimeters, sometimes even bigger if left untreated, and the pain for that would be unimaginable. Symptoms of this condition would include a persistent ache in your lower back, constant nausea, painful urination, and the presence of blood during urination. Ouch! To cure this, some medicines have been taken for such big stones to be dissolved, but for worse cases, a surgery will be required. Unhealthily expanded bladder. Have you ever stretched out a rubber band to its maximum length and held it there for as long as you can? Well, did you notice how you're no longer able to get it back to its original state? Imagine your bladder going through the same problem as that rubber band. When it becomes too full, the liquid causes the muscles and membranes to stretch around it. As this happens, releasing pee would become very difficult because the bladder is no longer able to go back to its original shape. Some severe cases would make it impossible for the body to expel pee at all because the bladder ends up storing everything. With a case as severe as this, you would need to have a catheter inserted in your urethra for your body to be able to expel urine. Bladder burst. Losing control often leads to unwanted outcomes, and if you reach the point of experiencing a bladder burst, it will be very difficult to come back to it. Normally, your urge to pee starts the moment the urine in your bladder reaches to about 150 to 200 milliliters. At this stage, you're still able to function and set aside the urge so you can continue with what you're doing. But as you continue to ignore it, you'll start experiencing the immediate urgency once it reaches to about 400 to 500 milliliters. This is usually the point where you start scrambling in search of a bathroom, but you may still be able to hold it in. Some could actually still hold it past this point, but the potential for danger increases dramatically because of the occurrence of a bladder burst. Once this happens, it can only go one of two ways. The first one is where your bladder stretches to its maximum capacity, making the muscles that hold the leakage to weaken, resulting in you losing control and wetting your pants in that very moment. That will be your best case scenario, because if it's going to be the second one, things will escalate immediately internally. With your nervous system being overrun with signals and your muscles losing their capacity for control, it could result in a bladder burst that will fill your abdomen with urine, and the only way to fix it is a trip to the operation room. Such complications can truly be avoided. It's not worth going through all that trouble if you could just prioritize your body and make time to relieve yourself by urinating. It won't take you 5 minutes. This has been Cleverside, reminding you not to skip every bathroom break. If you found this video helpful, please give us a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button before you go pee. Let us know your thoughts about this video. You can also leave a comment below on other topics you want us to cover. Here are some of our other videos you might like. Thanks for watching and see you next time.